Hey y'all, what's good? What's going on? Y'all see I'm in a little different area. I'm back home for a few days for Thanksgiving. Um, Even though we're not doing shit for Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're not doing anything, but I'm just home just cause fuck that door. But yeah. So let me know how y'all feel about the LEDs on. I'm gonna try and get a few videos in while I'm home. So if y'all see me, I'm probably just doing one video tonight. So I was gonna say if y'all see me in a different shirt, I'm in the same shirt. That's why, but I'm just doing one tonight, and we'll see. I guess I'll just wait until the nighttime to do these. I'm leaving. I guess it's gonna have to be Monday. Cause last minute, my folks was like, "You want to go to Connecticut? We're doing some shit in Connecticut." I was like, "Sure, why not? I have nothing else to do." So we're doing that Saturday and come back Sunday. Traffic's gonna be hella crazy. Cause I was gonna come back Sunday, but I don't know. I'm gonna be hella tired already, so I don't know if they'll just drop me off on the train station, but it really depends because I can't predict when we're finna, if y'all know Connecticut and the traffic up there, bro. So I can't really predict how feasible that's gonna be, but I'm gonna just have to discuss that with them and we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind be going back Monday, one less day in the dorm, then I just gotta pull through until winter break. Get me a little reliever, I guess that's the word. I may or may not be working, I don't know. I mean, of course I need the money, and I will need it in the spring, because there's some stuff I gotta buy for some of my music tech courses in the spring. But we'll figure that out later. I'm just trying to get through the damn semester right now. I'm trying not to do too much. I feel like this shit is shaking a little bit. I apologize if it is. So I'm just trying to sit still. So I'm like, not shake too much. But yeah. So I was on the train on my way back, and all of a sudden I had this random flashback. I be having like random ass flashbacks to shit. And this time it was like a flashback to, I think it was like 2016, I want to say. Yeah, because I was 15 for the year. So 2016, New Year's Eve. If y'all know my family, we was be throwing like a big ass bash every year. COVID kind of fucked that shit up in some other unfortunate circumstances, so I don't know if we'll be doing that again, like ever, like on that scale. But at that time, we was just doing it. I grew up on them shits, so it was just another year, and it was like, okay, I'm 15 now. At the time, I was still identifying as a female, just to put that out there, because that's like part of the story. So I would still wear crop tops now when I feel like it, but at that time, it was kind of like, ooh, I went through this little phase of trying to be a little baddie. And so I think that year, what the hell did I do? I found this, like, crop top or something at, like, Macy's or some shit. I was probably with my grandma or somebody buying that shit, because she be going to the department stores. She don't be in the mall like that. She be in a department store. So we went, got this short ass, and I say short ass because in reality it really was not that short. Before a 15-year-old, people might be like, oh, especially people in my family, like, I can't get up because I'm sitting, but like, if this is the upper part of my body, like, there was enough stomachs showing around. Showing around. What the fuck? There was enough stomach showing. So with a little crop top, shoulderless, bling on the front, nice little design and shit. It was hella cute, and it was like black was the main color, and like crystals and stuff like that. So that's what I was finna wear, with some like black, like slick black pants. And I think I had some eyeshadow, some blue eyeshadow or something like that. And I was feeling good, I was cute. People was taking pictures of me and shit. So yeah, I was feeling myself, and I came downstairs, and my aunties and uncles were like, "So where's the rest of your shirt?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, this is just what I bought, you know?" I was just kind of like, "Guys, come on. Like, I know I'm not like 18 or anything, but like, I'm getting up there. Let me live, let me be, you know, let me do my thing." So that was that. And you know, I was talking to these same uncles and aunties because you know we have a bar in our basement, so we were all kind of standing by the bar chatting, because those people don't usually sit at the tables that we have across the other part of the basement. Y'all have seen in my other videos. Like the part behind me, they don't usually sit there. They usually sit where I film my videos at normally when I'm home. So we were just doing that, and all of a sudden, one of my other aunties, I'm gonna call her. I can't even use the initial. It's gonna be way too obvious. I'm gonna call her Auntie Jane. So, Auntie Jane pulls up. Now, just a little background about Auntie Jane. Auntie Jane be doing the absolute most, whether it's a party or it's a regular ass day. She be doing the absolute most, because that's just kind of what her personality is. And growing up, I liked her, but there was definitely some times where let's just say she was not Auntie of the Year. And I was like, I'm not fucking with this, but I'm a little child, and you know, in an African household, they're gonna come at you. Not no more, because I'm not tolerating that shit. So, you know, I be roughing some feathers now, but back then, I was not trying to say anything. So I would just let it go, but in my head I was like, no, I don't like this. This is not right. So this is gonna end up being one of those moments. But she just be doing the absolute most, very out there, kind of overly opinionated, to the point where it's not like, oh, I'm confident. It's like I just want to be loud and heard all the time, and I'm saying all this stupid shit. I don't really care what the results or what people's reactions end up being. You know, like people like that who want attention for the wrong reasons, kind of thing. That's her, just kind of always out there, center of attention, kind of making a fool out of herself sometimes if she starts drinking, you know, that kind of thing. So she pulls up, and she has this man with her, and I'm like, never seen you before. You definitely not no uncle or nothing. Who is you? So we're all kind of looking like, is this a new boo? Because up until recently, she wasn't with anyone like exclusively or anything like that. So we were like, okay, this must be her new man's or something. Or like maybe for me at least, the first man I could remember ever seeing her with. So I was like, oh, okay, must be about to introduce us. And she does. I don't remember his name at all, so I'm just gonna give him a random name and hope that's not his actual name, because I cannot for the life of me remember what his name is. I'm gonna call him Nick. Yeah, he seemed like a Nick. So Auntie Jane, I almost forgot what I named her. Auntie Jane brought Nick over, and she was like, hi guys, so this is Nick. We used to go to high school together. I don't remember if she meant they did date when they were in high school, but I can't tell you all for sure if she had mentioned that in the introduction. But she did say they knew each other in high school. So we were like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. And he shook my hand and everything. He was a little smiley with it, and I was like, okay, but like, I've met so many adults who were like that with me, and it never led to anything weird, so I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, just a nice man or whatever. Cool. Mind you, he was probably like 26, 27, 28-ish. And I was 15. Just keep in mind the little age gap we got going on in this story. So, you know, some time passes, and he's just kind of hanging around us. I don't really remember if people were interacting with him like that. But he was just kind of hanging around, and I was hanging around. And then I went upstairs, and I came back down. And oh yeah, that's another thing. I had a fine ass haircut. Fine ass haircut. little fade, you know. It was cute. Um, and I had that going on. He took note of that. Sorry, my nose is like hella itchy because I got COVID tested today. And every time I do, like the last few times, the place I went to, like they be hella aggressive in my nose and shit. So I'm sorry. They have me a little fucked up. So excuse me, I'm probably gonna be doing this a lot. But yeah, so they had him. He came. He saw my hair and he was like, "I like your haircut," but like the music was mad loud at this point because the DJ had started playing his tunes and shit. So he came like here, like low key. If he had gotten any closer, might as well gone and said it in my ear or some shit. And was like, "I like your haircut," and I was like, "Thank you." You know, like it was just, you know, I was so oblivious to what was going on because, like I said, like I've grown up around adults. I've grown up around being around people 30, 40 years older than me. Yeah, and in the 20s, but like a lot of older, like my grandparents' friends. Like I just grew up around like older people, and like they would always say stuff like that and act like that, but it never, you know, I never felt uncomfortable with any of it. You know, it was just like, oh, it's a compliment, thanks. But he was feeling me, and I was not catching on. Still, so he was like, "Yeah, I like your haircut. You know, it looks good. You look good." And I was like, "Thank you." And then he was like, he walked away. Then he came back. He just kept like leaving and entering like the area that I was in, because I didn't really move around much at that time. I was mostly just by the bar. And he would go and talk to Auntie Jane, try and talk to other people, get he drank as much as she did. So he was starting to get tipsy. He had like a few bottles of beer by that point. That he kept having in a cup, and he started spilling. He was dancing and he was starting to feel himself and get a little tipsy. No, he was not even tipsy. He was drunk at that point. And was just dancing like this, you know. And the beer was just spilling out the cup, and it was just like all over the floor, and people were noticing, because the kind of parties we throw, like people be getting wild a little bit, but it'd be extremely on the low. Like for the most part, everyone's very like, not only to word proper, but they don't be getting turned to the point where they spilling drinks and shit. Like that does not happen. So for him to be doing that, it really caught like everybody's attention. Like, oh, who is this guy? You know, the African auntie. Who is this guy? What is he doing? What do you know? You know, that kind of thing. So, and I was like, Auntie Jane, do you see what he's doing? Can you go get your mans or whatever y'all are? Because I low-key thought that there was still something between them. I'm like, why would you invite your ex-boyfriend to your auntie's party? Your auntie's house party. Like, it's not a club or some shit. It's your auntie's house party. Like, granted, we always have some randoms. But for the most part, everybody knows everybody. And even if there's some randoms, you know, it's not like that kind of random. You feel me? So it was kind of like, everyone was kind of taken off guard a bit. So this man, you know, Nick, is just, you know, dancing up a storm, getting real smooth with it. Then he gets off the dance floor for a second. And he starts talking to me about dancing. Now, y'all, if you know me, you know how much I love to dance. I would take any opportunity and excuse to go to a party and dance. I would dance in my room. I just was like 20 minutes ago. You know, and I was just like, oh, you want to talk about dancing, okay? And he was like, yo, can I see your moves? I'm trying to see your moves. Like, I'm trying to see your moves, you know, like that banter, that banter that I always be having with people. So I'm still loving at this point. I'm like, oh, we're gonna dance? Yeah, that's so fun. Like, I love getting new dance partners. I've gone to so many parties and ended up dancing with people that I've never had met prior to, and forming some sort of bond with them just over that, you know. And if I see them again, I'm like, yeah, that's my dance partner. So if we go to the same party, we're gonna dance together, you feel me? So that's what I was thinking this was gonna be too, and I was so excited. And I was like, yeah, I get to see, because like, well, I get really excited if I meet someone that I feel like, I don't even want to use the word can dance really well, because I like to be fluid when it comes to how people choose to dance. I don't like to be a stickler about moves and stuff, because I think that's stupid, and that takes the fun out of it. But I especially like it when someone matches my vibe and like to the point where y'all dance together so much that y'all don't even like it. Just it seems almost like you planned it, but you didn't, because everything's just natural. Like when you're dancing with someone, it's a communication thing. Like your bodies is like talking to each other. Like you finna go like this. I'm finna, you know, like it's a vibe. It's like an intertwining thing going on. So that's what was going through my head. The art of it all, the aesthetic, if you will. So I was like, yeah, okay, Nick, let's go. And I'm like, okay, let me show you. Don't try to do the little O's. Let me see what you got. You see what I got? Cool. So he was like, I bet. And in his head, he's like, oh, it's about to go down now. Like, I'm going to just use the pronouns she, her for this story time. Now, I'm finna get her just where I want her to be, because he had been feeling me all night. And he was like, yeah, like, are we finna dance? It's finna go down. And, like, I had found out later, I don't know which Caribbean country he is from, but he was really, like, into, like, parties where they play a lot of dance hall and stuff. And at the Ghanaian parties, they'll play some dance hall, like, later on. But it's not like a thing like that. Like, they'll play a little bit here and there, but it's not like the main music you're hearing. And people will get a little freaky with it, but nothing too crazy. But, like, the parties he had been going to, like, I found out from someone I used to be friends with who was from Guyana, I think. And he was telling me how they be dancing at some of these parties. And they be getting a little aggressive with it when they be dancing with some of these girls and stuff. Like, really going, you know what I'm saying? Like, really getting in it. And I'm like, and I think that's what he had in his head. And he didn't get this is Auntie's house party memo. And if you do that, you finna be getting side-eye type shit. So, he had that in his head to do with me. A 15-year-old girl. With his 27-year-old ass. So, we get on the floor. The floor wasn't that far from where we were standing. We get on the floor. And we start dancing. And it was going well at the beginning, you know. Like, but we were also pretty close to each other. But then again, even that, I'm used to being close to people. There might have been one or two instances now, I'm just remembering. One or two instances where there are some men who were definitely kind of getting a little too far with it. So I had to de-escalate the situation, like, in the middle of dancing with them. And then it would go fine, or we just wouldn't be dancing no more. But this dude, he wasn't catching no type of hints. One of my aunties walked by, and just the look that she gave me, it wasn't like, hey, what are you doing? But it was kind of like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But, you know, it was kind of like, not like a real smile, but kind of like, what you got going on here? Like, hella raised eyebrows. That should have been my sign that was a bad idea to just get away from him. But still, you know, I thought, because, like, that particular auntie likes to watch me dance. So I'm like, oh, maybe she's just like, oh, yeah. She's dancing right now, that kind of thing. But I think she was kind of concerned, now that I'm thinking back to it. But that'll lead me into, like, a side note I have towards the end of this, as far as how people reacted to the situation. Because I wish that some people, the adults in the situation, should have handled things a bit different. So, we're dancing already close in the beginning, and, like, yeah, I like to move, you know, as a true African, I like to wind my waist and all these things, you know, just natural dancing, because that's just, you know, that's how we do. So no one really looks at it as inappropriate or, like, vulgar or anything, because it's, like, part of our culture, you know. So, we're getting down. All of a sudden, I feel this man pick me up. Y'all see how small I am. I was even smaller back then. So, like, barely over 100 pounds type small. And he picks me up. Grown-ass man picks me up and starts grinding. Like, you know, some grinding, dry humping type shit. Like, mid-air, bruh. Had me, like, if this is him, and this is so bad. Alright, I'm gonna move this up. This is his legs, right? This is probably really bad. Yeah, this is his arms and shit, and his legs. And, alright, so this is my legs. I don't think this is that good. But, like, legs. this is his waist. He had me like, you know, mid-air, like picked me up, had my legs wrapped around him, and he was grinding the hell out of me. And like I didn't have no control because I was so fucking small. Like this man is just thrusting me like this, and I was just like, oh my god. I started to feel a little dizzy. That's how embarrassed I was. And like I just turned my head. It felt like it lasted for an eternity, but it really wasn't. It was just a few seconds, maybe under a minute. And I turned my head and I saw this other auntie. Her face was like that. She was staring us the fuck down, and I was like, I'm just praying that she don't think that this is my fault somehow, cause that's how. I mean, I still am like that sometimes. Personal post-trauma thing, but I was like, oh man, she's gonna think that this is my fault, that I instigated this or something, cause right as that other auntie had walked past us, that's when it kind of started to hit me. Oh shit, this dude is like attracted to me. And I felt so stupid, but at the same time, like I was like, bruh, you don't want to just dance? Like you don't gotta be doing all this. This is inappropriate. Cause I knew, like I know you've been drinking and shit, but I didn't look like no 18, 19-year-old girl. Like some of these like people that you thinking is way younger, be like, but they be thick as hell or whatever, or like looking way older, and but they really do be 16. That wasn't me. I looked younger than 15. I looked young as shit. So it was just astonishing to me that I could easily tell that this man was way too old for me, but he kept pulling the whole, oh, I didn't know he was 15 type shit. I'm like, bro, you stupid? Is your eyes even open? Like, I know you drunk, but you still looking at me. Like, what the hell did you see that made you think I was old enough for you? Even if I had been 18, 19, still, that would have just been trifling a little bit. So, that moment, and then he puts me down. This other auntie, Auntie Jane's sister-in-law, we're gonna call her Auntie Sarah. Yeah. So Auntie Sarah taps Auntie Jane on the shoulder and goes like this, like, look. But like, look at what she's doing, meaning what I'm doing. Nothing about the dude whatsoever. Just like, what is she doing? And then Auntie Jane walks over and she goes like this. I can't remember who the fuck she was waving her finger at, but I was like, you better not be waving your finger at me, cause your ex-man's over here. Your ex-man's over here is the one that picked my ass up, grinding me and shit like we about to go to town in a few minutes. That's what he was on. You know me for years. You know I'm about the dancing. Now when I'm at my age, you know, if it's with the right person, you know, I might try and swing some shit. But, like, not at that time. That was not where my mind was at all. And I was just so embarrassed. Like, my face was feeling so hot. And my heart was beating like it was so bad. And she just walked over in between us like this. And I don't know if she did, like, a notion for me to get away from him or something. But I remember just walking away. And I don't remember if she had a conversation with him or not. I don't know. I doubt it. But I just tried to get out of there as quickly as possible because around that time, DJ had stopped playing the music and my grandpa was going to make an announcement about something. I don't know. Maybe it was time to eat. I don't remember. But I was just like, oh my god, my face. I'm so hot. I'm so embarrassed. So I just got out of there. And I went upstairs. And I was just freaking out because I felt like my entire night had been ruined. And because I have been wearing a little crop top thing, I felt like I had asked for it. And like looking back now, I know I didn't. And that he had no right to do that, no matter how I was dressed. And he should have known better. But in the moment, I thought it was on me. I was like, I was trying to look all cute and show off my belly a little bit and all that. And try and wear something different. And this is what happened to me. So, I was pissed. Like, crying level pissed. And I was just kind of hanging around and my whole mood had been killed. Which sucks because that was like my favorite party of the year. And I don't know what he was doing, but like I came down to eat, but I couldn't even eat. I had no appetite. And somebody was like, yo, what's good? Like, are you good? Like, I can see it in your face something's not okay, so just tell me. And I told them, and then like one of my uncles was listening in. I told him, and then we all went upstairs to talk about it. And this other auntie had been looking at me kind of worried, but I just kind of ignored her because I was so caught up in my like emotions at that time, and I was like, nah, fuck this shit. Everyone's thinking about this shit. And on my way back up, the guy Nick goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was 15. I didn't know he was 15. All this crap and shit." Expecting me to be like, "Oh yeah, I forgive you." The fuck, creepy ass. Like, yo, it would have made more sense for you to be dancing on my auntie like that, but not me. Like, it looked so bad. It looked so bad. So we go upstairs to talk about it. I'm already crying at this point because I was just like so shaken up by that whole experience. And honestly, not that I'm glad that it happened, but, and obviously someone could have sat me down one day and been like, so now that you're getting older, there might be men who try and dance with you like this as you get older and stuff. But that did open my eyes a lot because I was like, damn, so it's really like that. If I send the wrong message or something, and granted, let me not word it like that. Like, it's just, it could happen, people are just gonna take things the way they want to take it and assume that you want some from them, or just try and take it anyway. You just gotta be alert sometimes with that shit. But like, damn, I was like, yo, no way did this shit happen in front of everybody, all my elders and shit. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed, bro. And I had like a lot of aunties. So another auntie pops up and is trying to comfort me up in the guest room. So she sees me crying. She don't want me crying in front of everybody. So she takes me up to the guest room. Then somebody knocks on the door. Notice I'm avoiding names for this one. Somebody knocks on the door. And it's like, okay, so Auntie Jane said it was your fault. And I was like, how is it my fault? Like, I was bawling. I was so pissed that she had said that. Like, she tried to put the whole entire blame on me. The 15-year-old, the child in the situation. She tried to blame me for the whole thing. And then my auntie said, it's okay, just calm down. So she's trying to calm me down still. And I go and wash my face somewhere. And, on my way down, I see the auntie that had first looked at me kind of funny. And I don't know if she could tell if I was crying or not because I didn't have my glasses on. But I went straight into the half bath and I was like trying to get myself together. But I was like, damn, what if she's sitting there talking about this shit with some of the other aunties right now? Like, what is she saying? Like, that's what was going through my mind. Because I was so concerned about what everybody thought. I didn't want anyone to think I was trying to be like just on some crazy shit as a 15-year-old, So that was that, you feel me? Then this man, Nick, comes upstairs to eat in the dining room, and we hear him and shit, and he spilled beer on the dining room cloth too and all this shit. He's still just going at it, and I wanted to go over and say something to him so bad, but this other person was like, no, do not go over there. I was so pissed because I was like, I want to go over there and say something to him. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I wanted him to have a piece of my mind because I didn't like the way I handled it when he apologized. Like, I was just kind of still taken aback still, so I didn't really say much, but I wanted him to know how he made me feel. And then granted, that probably wouldn't have mattered because he was so drunk, but I still wanted to let it out. Because I was like, I'm probably not going to see you again. I want to say what I have to say now. So that happens. And I'm just kind of pissed at Auntie Dean at this point for basically trying to set me up because she knew damn well that this was like partially her fault for bringing him to the party and seeing the way he behaves like he ain't had no sense. So yeah, for a while I wasn't gonna try and dance or nothing, but some of my other people got me going again. And like before that, another uncle pulled up. But he would be pulling up to the parties kind of late usually. He pulled up to see my face, and he knows how lit I begin at these things. It was like, nah, what's wrong with you? So I told him, And he went and handled that. He got some other uncles together, and they got this man out of the house. And it was honestly the dopest shit. And that is one thing that I like about all the uncles that I have, because I know in an instance like that, they would take care of it, and I wouldn't have to do a thing. Like, if I genuinely asked them, can you handle this man? Can you get him away from it? Can you get him to stop bothering me? They all would come together and do that. Again. Like, and they not, you know, they some big, you know, they can handle shit. So I was like, okay. So I was just really happy that he took the initiative to do that. Because I was like telling other people I want him out. But that uncle led the show. It was like, I didn't see the ordeal, but I know it was serious if they got him to leave. So they got him out. Auntie Jane and I were not speaking. Auntie Sarah and I were not speaking. But Auntie Jane was the one I was pissed at Auntie Sarah too for pointing it out that way, the way she did. But Auntie Jane just had violated on so many areas. And this is because, allegedly, I found out a few weeks later when her mom had came over. Because her mom is sisters of my grandmother. So she came over. And they were talking about the situation. And they were like, and her mom was like, no, I told her not to bring him because you were hanging out with this dude in high school. You don't know if he's changed or how he is now. But she didn't listen. And that's why she was trying to put it on me, because she didn't want anyone to know about that. That she had been specifically told not to bring this man by her mother, and did not follow what she advised her to do. And if she had listened, none of this would have happened. So she was like, oh, I'm just going to put on the child. And of course, you're just going to run with that because, you know, in African culture, you know, you just blame the kid. So that was that. And like the auntie that had been staring at us when I was in the middle of the air, like she kept asking at the end of the party, like whispering to my grandma, like, yo, do you know that man? And da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, no, but I don't know him. Jane brought him, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what was going on. But I never discussed it with her. I guess she felt like it wasn't my place, even though I was the one involved, because I was still like the child in the situation, that she shouldn't be discussing it with me. But I would like to know what she really thought. I mean, we're good now, but like, of course, that was years ago. But in the moment, I felt like she was mad at me. I felt like everybody was pissed at me. And I was like, but later on, I was like, nah, man, I didn't do nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong. Like, how somebody is dressed does not give you a right to get on with them. When it's like a illegal age gap like that, if y'all both grown and they didn't say I'm trying to get like this, if they're not like, no is fucking no, or like not saying let's do it is no. Like, if they don't say that shit, like, I'm trying to have sex with you, I'm trying to dance with you like this, I'm trying to make out with you, you know, like, you can't be doing all that. And he just kind of hopped in, like, bruh, that made me so uncomfortable. And it really, I mean, I have been already looking at certain men different, but that definitely expanded how I felt of, like my negativity, my negative feelings towards men, for sure. Because that night was crazy. I still do think about it sometimes, but I was thinking about it a lot after that. I was so pissed. And, like, it was just bad. But, like, luckily I was able to enjoy the party towards the end. Like, that same auntie that had been talking to my grandma at the end, she got me. She's like, yo, I don't see you dancing. And they were trying to make me feel better because I was so in a funk. I was so pissed. And yeah, I don't know. Like that auntie's daughter was trying to make me feel better, but this same auntie was still looking at me, and I was like, I don't know how to read your face right now because it feels like you're pissed at me. But I'm like, I don't see why you would be, because it's like, you see me dance with random people all the time and it never amounts to anything. So, like, I just was praying she didn't think it was my fault either. But when I found out that her mother had said don't bring this man, and she did anyway, that explained everything. Because she's always been like that, you know? She want to act like she about it. And then when she hit the fan, she like, oh, you know? Like that. I'm like, no, you so grown. You need to take accountability and listen to Listen to your mother when she's advising you about something that's actually fucking smart, because you don't know how people are gonna be if you haven't seen them in a while. And since versus high school, clearly the man didn't change much, because I'm like, there wasn't an ounce of maturity in his body before or after you started drinking. But if you had just been like, okay, let me not bring him to my, like, if y'all gonna hang out and reconnect, that's one thing. But y'all don't gotta do that in your auntie's house, you feel me? At a family party. You ain't gotta be doing all that. So, yeah, that honestly never really got resolved. Like, I never saw that man again. I never talked about it directly with Auntie Jane. But I was ignoring her for the next few family events, and she knew why. So she held her distance. Like, I towards the end of that party, she was standing in the corner of the basement, and the death stare I gave her when I was coming around that corner, yo, that was crazy. I was like, I ain't fucking with you. And, like, we had been laughing about something. Not us, but, like, we were in a group. Like, there's some other aunties and uncles and cousins, and someone said something funny, and I laughed, and she death stared at me. Like, why are you laughing? I'm like, bitch, did you tell the joke? I could laugh whatever the fuck I want. So, it was like that kind of vibe, and then we just didn't speak for a hot minute. And even now, it's low-key kind of awkward still, because I just don't be talking to her like that no more. It feels very fake. I'm not gonna even, like, lie to you. It feels fake as hell. But it is whatever. We ain't never gonna... Sorry, y'all. I'm a little tired. I'm trying to keep my eyes open and just wrap this up. But, yeah, I am never gonna be that close to her again. I mean, I already was feeling that by then, but she still had to deal with that shit. It's like, okay, I know what kind of person you are now. Like, to a T. I got all the proof I need, and I don't give a fuck. So, that's that. Some people you just could be fucking with like that, you know? But that's the story of the time a man thought he was gonna be fresh with me in the middle of a family party. Lord have mercy. That memory popped up to me. I don't know what reminded me of that shit, but it just popped up, and I was like, I gotta do a story time about that, because that's some tea. It's a few years old, but it's some tea. But yes, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the story time. Definitely more to come. I got a lot of content coming with story times. I mean, I'm not gonna even lie to y'all. Like, some of the story times that I know I could do, I'm hesitant about doing. So I'm just gonna say this now. I'm not trying to start drama or nothing. I don't really know most of the people who are subscribed to my channel. Some of these people might still be subscribed, and I don't want them to, like... Obviously, they won't like it if I tell a story time, but I never expose anybody. Like, even when I did my ex-best friend shit, like, nobody knows, like, what his name is. Nobody knows what his face looks like. Or anything like that. You feel me? Nothing personal or revealing that could, like, put them in a dangerous situation or something. So, at the most, you'll sit there watching and know I'm talking about you. And people do that shit all the time. But, like, I like to do story times, and shit happens in my life, and I'll tell my perspective. If you want to do a video about me, you're free to do that. I can't stop you. And people are gonna believe what they want. They're gonna believe you, they're gonna believe me, they're gonna think we're both in the wrong, we're both in the right. Who knows? But that's just what the deal is. So I might just do them anyway. We'll see. And I'm just gonna share my honest opinion about it. Like, it's an opinion at the end of the day. It's not all facts, you know. And it is what it is. People gonna get a little salty, but, like, if you're getting salty because when you were supporting me doing videos about other people, but as soon as your story time come up because shit hit the fan, now you want to be acting like, oh my god, he's wrong, then that's some bullshit. Because clearly it's just because it's about you. You don't generally think it's wrong. And I know people who, if they thought what I was doing was wrong, they would just straight up tell me, but it's not. You're not getting exposed, like, with your full name. The only time I did that was with, you know, the family shit, and that made sense to do that. Because people need to know about the people out there like that. But for these stories and shit, I don't put your real name, nothing really revealing about you in front of everybody else except for my ex-best friend. Like, I mean, I covered his face in the picture, but I didn't even put a picture up for them people, you know? Even the shit where I was in the wrong, you know, I still told them stories because it's just my life. And I like to talk about shit that happened in my life. It's a lot of things. You feel me? But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'll see y'all when I do those videos, and hopefully no crazy shit happens. But yeah, cause I'm just talking my shit. But thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next time, whenever next time is. I don't know. I'm gonna upload this. It's the day before Thanksgiving. I'm gonna upload this later today at a reasonable time. It's like 1:30 a.m. I'm gonna get me some sleep, and I'm gonna upload this when I wake up. But thank y'all for watching.